Hey, Starshine listeners, thanks for tuning in. Today we'll be talking about books that are made into movies and TV shows in honor of our guest, Celestine Rae, who plays Shayna Bradford in a film adaptation of Brenda Jackson's novel, A Brother's Honor. How are you today?
I cannot complain. It's a beautiful day out. Got some rest last night.
Oh, good.
How are you?
I'm doing well. A little busy, but good.
You got it. Busy and good, and yes, manage it all. Yes.
So I'm excited to talk to you about A Brother's Honor, which is going to be on Passion Flicks.
Mm-hmm.
That's so exciting.
I know. I actually fly out tomorrow and packing and getting my things together. I fly out tomorrow to go to LA for the premiere on Thursday. So the premiere's on Thursday, and then the movie releases on Passion Flicks on Friday. And I'm like, I have so many wonderful butterflies swarming around.
Yeah, I'll bet. This is your first leading role, is that correct?
In this caliber film, yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I've done a lot of independent feature films and things like that, but yeah.
Gotcha. So that's very exciting. Can you tell us a little bit about the movie?
Yeah, so A Brother's Honor is a movie based on three brothers who have been estranged for some time due to some trauma and family drama. I don't want to give too much away that goes on in the past, and their sick grandfather brings them all back home. And one of the grandfather's wishes is that all of the brothers work together to try to save their family's aeronautics company. And this family, they have legacy, they have money, and they are trying to save this company that was started generations ago by, I think, their great-great-grandfather who was a Tuskegee airman. So in the process of doing so, they hire a crisis manager, who is me, Shayna Bradford, who comes in to try to help them crisis manage everything and to save the company. And in the process, Shayna finds out that there's a lot of traitors in the company, and not only that, she falls in love with Jace, and Jace falls in love with her.
Aw. Well, so now it's based on a book, which is what Passion Flicks is all about, or, popular books that are turned into movies. Did you get to read the book?
So everything happened really, really fast when I was offered the role. And so before I knew it, I was flying down to Florida, and they sent me the screenplay. So that's what I read first. I read the script for the film script, and after reading it, I said yes. And when I went down to Florida, I was listening to the audiobook during the first week of filming. So I was kind of learning, listening to the full Brenda Jackson story while I was filming on set the first week. But we shot for 3 weeks, so I got to finish it in the first week. And then I was like, I have a lot of juicy details. A lot of background information.
That's awesome. Was Brenda Jackson involved in the making of the movie in any way, or?
Yeah, she was on set every single day. She was there, sitting in Video Village, watching everything that was being shot. I got to sit and have lunch with her pretty much every day on set. We talked for hours. She's a lovely woman. She's very accomplished, and she was there writing other books while she was on set, watching her movie being made.
That's awesome. What was the best character tip that she could give you that gave you some insight to Shayna?
We talked about Shayna a lot, and one of the things that she said to me that I did pick up on, but she kind of articulated it in a very specific way. She said to me that Shayna not only falls in love with Jace, but Shayna is the one that comes in and saves Jace. She said it's not like other romances where the man saves the woman. Shayna comes in and she rescues Jace. And that's I thought to myself, that is awesome. And I did pick up on it, but when she said that to me, I said, right. It gave me a lot of insight into the character and just how I wanted to play it and how I wanted to interact with Jace as Shayna and who I was in our relationship.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, not only is that's something that's not usual in romances, but you are a person of color, and so is most of the cast, which is awesome. And I know that the first movie for Passion Flicks that has had an all Black leading cast, so that's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, I think that, well, who doesn't like to watch a love story, right? So it's like, I mean, people might, one of the other actors made a good point. He said, people might try to act like they're not into romance, but who doesn't like to watch people falling in love? And so it's really beautiful when you get to see yourself reflected, like people of color fall in love too, just like everyone else, so it's beautiful to have those stories being represented authentically on screen as well.
Yeah, definitely. I interviewed an Asian actor recently, and I mean, for years we didn't see Asian actors in leading roles as romance, things. So, and now it's really nice that we're starting to see that more too. So,
absolutely. And you just start to see the more specific you can be with the actual experience, the more it applies to everyone, the more universal it is. And so we can watch movies like Crazy Rich Asians and we can relate to the characters, even though it's very specific to that cultural group. It's not trying to be general. It's very specific, but we can all watch it and enjoy it and love it. And I think that'll be the same thing with A Brother's Honor. And Brenda Jackson herself, she has followers all over the world. I just got back from London. Passion Flicks flew myself and Jeremy, who plays Jace, out to London to meet some of our fans, meet people who are very excited about the release of the film. So we were doing some press out there. And I mean, people from all over are just huge Brenda Jackson fans, and were coming up to us with her books, wanting us to sign her books. I mean, it's amazing to see how far these stories can reach people when they are written about people of color as well. So, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I think, it's important that everyone is represented in both literature and film, because, I mean, everyone deserves to be to be able to see themselves through that character or, somewhere in that.
Absolutely. Especially when there are characters that are falling in love.
Yeah.
we need more love.
We definitely do.
We need a lot more love.
Yes. So now you're married. Does your husband get jealous, anytime you have to do a kissing scene or anything like that?
It's so funny because I was asked this on in another interview. My husband is amazing, and I think that he has probably taught me more about love than I ever thought that I would understand. And so he doesn't get jealous, and he actually is. Well, we have a really open. We have a lot of open communication and open relationship in terms of the way that we share our feelings with each other and the way that we understand love and how love works, and that love is not singular, that he and I have a very specific kind of love, and we honor it and we honor each other, but we don't put those kind of constraints on each other. And he's taught me how to be, I guess, less possessive and less jealous because he isn't. And throughout the process, I mean, there are things that I do when I'm doing a romantic leading role where I like to check in. So every night when I came home from set, even when it was 3 o'clock in the morning, I called him, or I FaceTimed him. Like, I just do a check back into reality because, as an actor, while you're on set or while you're on stage, you are feeling feelings, and you're if you're doing it right, you're in this other world. So to snap yourself back into reality is really important. And I also just did it because for me it was like, hey, I just want you to see that I'm here, reassuring you. But he's amazing. He's coming with me to the premiere. We'll see how he feels after the movie.
Right.
No, I think he's gonna be fine.
That's funny. So now you're from Philly, and how has that city growing up, how has it influenced you as both a person and an actress?
Oh, specifically Philadelphia. Um, Philadelphia is an interesting city because it is a city, but it also has a very homey, small town feel to it as well. And I grew up, so interesting. This might be a long story, but I'll try to bring it back. I grew up in Philadelphia during a time when public schools were going through this phase. It wasn't that long ago, but this was what it was called. It was called the deseg program, and they were trying to desegregate a lot of the grade schools and middle schools. So they were busing people from all over. So I grew up in very diverse, culturally diverse environments, and I also grew up around the arts. So I mean, the grade school I went to, Charmont School, we did school plays every year. So I grew up doing school plays with people who in my class, white people, black kids, Asian kids, we were all we were doing Oliver, we were doing Bye Bye Birdie, I mean, that's how I grew up. And I remember I used to play outside all the time. I grew up in this we grew up in an apartment complex until I was 13, and I was like this little bossy kid who would go around and knock on everybody's doors, all the kids' doors, and say, "It's time for dance class. Come outside now." And I would wrangle all the kids, and we would put on shows for nobody, but we would walk around and hand people fake tickets. I mean, we made these tickets to our shows, and under my instruction, I was directing all these kids. So that's when I think about Philadelphia, I think about where the birth of my imagination came, and there's so much there. I danced with Philadelphia's second company, and so Philadelphia has been such a staple of Philadelphia, that dance company, for so many years, and it's very important to that city, and it's a predominant. Well, it was founded as an African American dance company during a time when there was a lot of segregation. When I went, it was more diverse, but it has the founding principles of what it is to do Black dance. So that it's in terms of the culture and the arts, I was around a lot of arts in Philadelphia, so it shaped me to be this very creative, imaginative person. And then it also gave me a little bit of an edge because Philly, there are parts of Philly that, it gave me a little bit of when I came to New York, I actually realized I could kind of let my shoulders come down from my ears a little bit. I didn't have to be so, if somebody steps on your shoe, you can just kind of relax because there's so many people here, it's not a big deal. But in Philly, you don't want to step on anybody's shoe there without saying, "Excuse me," because it will be a problem.
That's funny. Yeah, and it's funny because Philadelphia is the city of brotherly love, but you still have that.
Yes, you do. I mean, there's a jail in I forget which stadium is it. They have to have a jail in one of the stadiums because the Philadelphia fans, get so riled up and fight each other. I mean, I definitely grew up more sheltered from that. I was nerdy theater dance kid, but at the same time, it was you still had that. You still were in the midst of this kind of I mean, there's a Rocky statue. Rocky's not a real person, but we have a Rocky statue because
I know I posed with it before.
Yes. So,
Yeah.
We're praised for being fighters too.
I have to ask, do you have a favorite Philly cheesesteak? What's the best one?
Oh my God. Well, when I was eating Philly cheesesteaks and I don't eat meat anymore, but a Philly chicken cheesesteak is the bomb. It's very good. And you can get it I used to go with my dad and my sister to De La Sandro's, which is there was De La Sandro's and there was Chubby's, and we used to go there in Roxborough. And not a lot of people know about that specific area in terms of that plate where we would go to get our cheesesteaks, but they were delicious. And I used to eat the whole thing in one sitting.
I mean, when something's good, it's
yeah, it was delicious.
I've never had a Philly cheesesteak. I'm from New York, so it's not too far for me. But the last time,
no, you have to just take a train down and just try one. You have.
Well,
to.
I don't really eat meat either.
Okay, well then you don't. I'm anti-meat too right now. So.
The last time I went, my friend, it was her first time there, so I was like, okay, you have to get one. I'll get a pretzel.
You know what? There is a vegan place. Oh, I wish I knew the name of it. I have to ask my sister, maybe text you afterwards. There is a vegan place that makes vegan Philly cheesesteaks, and I have tried them. They're delicious.
Blackbird? Is it Blackbird Pizza?
Is it Blackbird?
Because
I don't know.
I did have it from there, and it was amazing, and their pizza is amazing too.
Okay. It might be there, and I think there might be another place that does it too. Yeah, so for the vegans out there, they can visit Philly and get a vegan version.
Yeah, Philly's actually very pro-vegan, thankfully.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of places you can go and get things. It's good.
Yeah. So now living in New York City, you said you actually can relax, which I'm sure most people are like, what? But
I know. Believe it or not.
I mean, I get that, especially, if you're not in the more suburban areas of New York. I grew up, in Staten Island, so they would get mad at you if you stepped on their feet.
Yeah, Staten Island has probably like a South Philly energy. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely does. Yeah. But so I feel you about that. Can you tell us a little bit about any other projects that you're working on or upcoming movies?
Yeah, so I actually just got back from Washington, D.C. I was out there working with a theater company called American Slavery Project, and I just did a play called In the Parlor we presented it as a part of the March on Washington Film Festival. They were having an event that was adjacent to some of the film screenings. And In the Parlor is basically a historical fiction theater piece written about women who were organizing the march, the first Women's March. And within the play, it is an imagined conversation that would have taken place between historical figures Mary Church Terrell, Nellie Quander, Edna Brown, and Alice Paul. Alice Paul was the creator of this Women's March, and basically this conversation is around Black women being able to march in this historical event and what took place because Black women originally were not invited to be a part of the march. And so it's a really powerful piece. I just came back from doing that, and I'm part of that company, so we're supposed to be traveling around different areas in New York, and whenever we get asked to do it, we go and kind of travel and perform that piece. And then A Brother's Honor has two other films that are adjacent. It's actually a trilogy. So from the three brothers, each brother has his own love story. So Passion Flick's contracted us all out to be a part of all three movies. So that in terms of films, I'm going to be stepping into Shayna Bradford's shoes two more times. So that's really exciting.
That is exciting. Yeah, I'm so happy that through setting up my interview with you, I found out about Passion Flicks. It's a really cool thing. I mean, and I'm a writer, so and I write romances. So wow, that's
my God, yeah, you have to, yes. Well, Tasha Musk, who is Elon Musk's sister, is the one who came up with. I mean, it's brilliant when you really think about it, and she is really committed to turning these amazing romance novels into films. So yeah, it's definitely something, and maybe a contact that give me your script and just send it over because she's all about it.
That would be amazing. Yeah, that's awesome. I know that I saw on their website they do take submissions and stuff like that. So I'm like, who knows,
Yeah, you never know
what happens.
And especially right now because they're young. I think they're about they just turned 2 years years old. I didn't know anything about them before I did the film. But what was so amazing was once they announced on like Instagram and Facebook that I was playing the role of Shayna Bradford, and I was like, okay, great. I got tagged in that, and the next thing you know, my Instagram was blowing up with followers and people tagging me, and they were like, oh my God, you're going to be the most amazing Shayna Bradford. I've read this book 4 times. I love this character. And I was like, oh wow, this is something that, it's kind of like when you have it's not the same thing, but I'm thinking about Game of Thrones characters, like people who just know these characters from the book so well, and so then to see them, transported onto the screen, they already have a connection with the characters before the film was even created, and that's really beautiful.
It is. It's really cool. I remember one of my books, some people created like different Pinterest boards of what they thought the character would look like, and just different. I'm like, that's so cool. Like that's
so cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So I definitely feel that it's nice to get wrapped into someone else's world a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Well, thank you so much for speaking with me today.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. It was great to talk to you.
Yeah. And good luck with the movies, because now there'll be a trilogy, which is amazing.